We're out here. This is the field where the magic happens.
Benning Bites with Damon Benning. Benning Bites with Damon Benning.
Benning Bites back on a Monday after a long weekend. Yeah, longer than it should have been. Maybe for some, although. Heck of a show on a Monday. We haven't been short. Like, content is pretty readily available. And sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, but it is a thing. There haven't been really the dog days of summer with camp just getting ready to start here in less than a month. Big Ten Media Days in 2 weeks. Like, it's just incredible. I'm not even sure what happened. And I get it. There was a little trepidation, a lot of anxiety in about an 18-hour period as Nebraska transitions from one defensive backs coach to potentially another. We'll wait for the official naming or the release, but all reports indicate that Nebraska is set to hire Coach Butler, most recently with the Buffalo Bills, a tremendously decorated NFL career over the last 10 years. After leaving the college game with stints at Minnesota and Penn State. And, it's interesting. Robbie and I talked on the show, our Hurrdat Sports radio show, which is 7 to 10 every day. ESPN 590, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're going border to border within the state of Nebraska, trying to make sure we get you fine folks covered. We appreciate you folks tuning in. We stream on Apple, Google, Twitch, Facebook, good old-fashioned X, throw those bones. It was an odd Friday. Things happened fast. Made aware of some things, and we're off and running. And what happened, and what are we going to do, and the duration of how close we are to the season. You start doing the math in your head. And then by Saturday mid-morning, it's like, oh, that's really good. All things considered, like, that's fantastic. And it's not just that, because we don't really know. He looks fantastic, Coach Butler, in terms of what he brings to the table. Tried to read up as much as I could. There was a great piece in The Athletic with what his players felt after the departure from Buffalo, and I just asked people that I know in the industry, and you get a couple words. You get passionate, and you get fiery, and you get very, very smart. And from all indications, was received well by the players Sunday night and came across as a very sharp, bright guy, which doesn't really surprise me. I just think one thing that I think I understand about this staff and Coach Rule and Coach White in particular is that they're very higher level thinkers, high level thinkers. And so I think for them, and in dealing with a situation like this and the staff as a whole, and I could just hear Coach Rule saying this, is like, okay, this has happened to me. How do I get better? How do I grow from it? Okay, how do I improve the situation that I was just in? And there has to be some peace of mind in that. We talk all the time, and sometimes it gets a little, it's in the weeds a little bit, where we talk about the mind and remote misses and near misses and how the body and mind cope with when things happen that you don't expect to happen. Do you turn tail? Do you take it head on? Does it spur you on? Do you become paralyzed by fear? And it's the whole Malcolm Gladwell thing that we always talk about, remote versus near misses. On the surface, listen, you don't be dismissive. I mean, Coach Coop was really good at his job. He's a great eye for talent. That room took on his temperament. And perhaps, I think if you want emotions involved, I mean, he and Coach Rule were close. Like, that was his guy. So if you're just feeling for people, that's tough, right? If you can make it about business, then you're saying, okay, how can we move on? But the realistic side of it is I mean, that has to hurt a little bit. And so the ability to regroup, refocus, and do what's best for the greater good in a relatively quiet and efficient and timely manner was incredible. whether they'd known for 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 2 days or 3 days or 4 hours, to hit the ground running with what they did on Saturday morning, if reports are true, to be in place for the meetings, player meetings on Sunday night post the workout is pretty incredible. And you hope that it will be in a position or a job of an upgrade. But what you can really bank on is that they exhausted their resources in terms of getting what's best for the university. I have no doubt in my mind. He just does not strike me as the type of person, or nor does Coach White. And I keep saying Coach White because I think it is important to, and hopefully he did. I mean, just it's his personality, I think, to empower Coach White to be involved in the process, especially as a guy that he's been on record as saying will be a head coach someday, and I want him to be a head coach someday. You want That's kind of how you want it to be. Hey, Coach White, these are the parameters. It's kind of what do you want to look for? Let me tell you who I know. Who do you know? Like, I could just see two higher level thinkers really doing what they needed to do, what's best for that university and those young men in that room. And I think the good thing is we no longer talk about just the hiring of the buddies. Let's not act like we didn't go through that. We were looking at his roster and his pool money for. I don't know if he's spending all this money, and he's got this a certain allotment, and so far he's done pretty well. And the one thing that for sure is that black book is pretty big. It's pretty thick. There aren't a lot of places he hasn't been where he's made connections, and apparently a lot of people want to work with him. And you combine that with Coach White and his acumen and where he's moving in terms of his coaching growth. Hey, if you want your glass to be half full, you don't have to make up a drink. It's right there in front of you. It's adults in the room making adult decisions and going first. They did it quietly, they did it efficiently, and maybe, just maybe, they'll be better for it on the back end. It's another episode of Benning Bites.